A vow, a solemn promise to do a specified thing. Now, in this fourth video of the series, I'm going to talk about the vow of kindness. I am the possessor of a wondrous power. I know the secret of how to influence the thoughts and actions of others when they are in my company. This knowledge alone, but wisely used, has enabled scores of ambitious individuals to soar to great heights of fame and wealth and power throughout the ages. Sadly, only a few are aware that they possess such a power, while the vast majority have paid a terrible price in heartbreak and misery for their ignorance. Friends have been lost, doors were closed, opportunities have vanished, and dreams were destroyed. Until now, I have been a member of the sorry majority, for I foolishly abused the power that I did not even know I possessed. But through this vow, my eyes have been opened. The secret is so simple that every child understands it and instinctively uses it to his or her benefit. So essentially, when you think back to that old saying where it says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's essentially what this is all about. Now, think about this. We can influence others by treating them in the same manner we would like them to treat us. It's so simple, right? But for many people, it's not so simple. Now, we are all godly images of each other with the same senses, the same feelings, the same hopes, the same fears, the same faults, and the same blood, more or less. If one itches, does his neighbor scratch? In other words, things that affect the community as a whole, affect one person in the community usually affects the community as a whole. If one person smiles, her friend responds in kind. She will smile. He or she will smile. How ignorant I have been to this fact. While I know that success cannot be achieved alone, and I know that there is no such thing as a self-made man or woman, I also realize that I can never achieve my goals without the help of others. But yet, I can see as I reflect on my past that my actions had kept me in prison behind bars of regret. Why would anyone want to contribute to my success? Whenever I frowned, I would meet a frown in return, right? I mean, you when you have the RBF, as they say, you usually get a bad response, especially when you walk into a room. Whenever I shouted in anger, angry voices naturally would respond, right? Sorry, my phone was ringing, but I'm not going to edit that out. But whenever I complained about something, my displeasure, harsh looks would impale me. Now, in my defense, if as it may, I didn't necessarily look at it as complaint. Sometimes I just spoke of my displeasure or my analysis of something as being subpar or criticized in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Now, whether you want to call that complaining or not is subjective, but I will accept that if the person I was talking to received it as a complaint, then it was a complaint, unless I made attempts to clarify my displeasure. And of course, whenever I cursed, hatred always responded back. I mean, generally, bad language makes for bad feelings. But I didn't realize at the time that my own actions condemned me to the world where no one ever smiles. That's the world of failures. I foolishly blamed others for my plight but now I see that the fault was mine. When I realized this, I said to myself, at long last, my eyes have been opened. Now, this vow of success, I pledge to uphold for the rest of my life. And the vow is as follows. Never again will I be disagreeable to another living soul. So, let's talk about that. Let's tell you what it really means. Because I mean, when I first discovered this one, I kind of thought, I was like, are they trying to suggest that we should go along to get along? And when I read further, I don't believe that that's the case. So, think about this. Consider this. I will smile at friend and foe alike and make every effort to find in him and her, that's friend or foe alike, a quality to praise. Now that I realize that the deepest yearning of all of us, of all human nature, is a craving, a desire to be appreciated. Now, in truth, and I truly do believe this, that all of us have praiseworthy features. We all have something that other people admire. Even we have things that we take for granted because they come natural to us. Others find it in amazement and awe. And all we need to do, each of us, is to be certain that we are complimenting them, not fake complimenting me, but complimenting from the heart with a voice that is sincere. So, in other words, you want to, even in everybody, look for something that you can praise in that person and be generous and open with it. Don't keep it a secret. Let them know. You know, to praise, to smile, to show concern for others. These are as beneficial to the donor, me, each of us, as it is to the recipient. So when we show kindness to somebody, we benefit from it as well as the person who is receiving our kindness. This is a great power, and I truly believe in it. It's a great power. It's a power that affects others so strongly, it will work miracles in our own lives as the gratitude of others returns to us in many ways. A smile still remains the most inexpensive gift that you can give to anyone. And yet, its power can destroy kingdoms. It can destroy societies. It can destroy organizations. And those who I treat kindly with words of praise will I soon begin to perceive the good qualities in myself. As I see good qualities in other people's, I see good qualities in myself. And they will start to see good qualities in me that they never saw before. When I demonstrate kindness and show that praise to other people, they will praise me in return. Now again, never again will I be disagreeable with another living soul. Now for me, my days of whining and complaining about others have come to an end. For the most part. Now, I slip that now and then, but it's minor. It's usually minor. It's usually fed by some frustration or some inexplicable action that I witnessed. And I say, why? Why did they do that? That didn't make any sense. Or particularly when it's counterproductive for someone and I feel like, oh man, I wish I could show them how they are holding themselves back or hurting themselves back. But it's usually not mindless complaining just because I don't like something or something that they said. But I try and I work hard not to find fault with people, because nothing is easier than finding fault, but it's non-productive and it's not positive, you know. Now, when I've realized this and I say, oh man, I'm so grateful for a second chance at this, especially with some rapport that I may have not had with some people. But I do realize that I wasted years of opportunity, and only now am I learning that the great art of life is to improve the golden moments of opportunity and catch the good that's within our reach. In other words, by reaching out and connecting with people positively, praise them, they praise us, we form connections. That's the basis that by a healthy network by which we can get things done, both personal and in business. And so never again will we be disagreeable to another living soul. Think about this. A smile and a handshake, right? We hear that, smile and a handshake. These are in the final act and resolution. There is really is a simple act of love almost. You know, when you give someone a smile and a handshake, it may not be romantic love. It may be more of a brotherly love. It may be more of a love for one another as humankind, but it is love. Because, of course, life, as I know now, is made not up of great sacrifices or duties, but of the little things. The little things in which smiles and kindness and small obligation given whenever possible. It's the little favors. People appreciate the little things you do for them oftentimes. I mean, we do have people who look for bigger fish, but most people appreciate those little things. I mean, you come to work and you grab your coworker, you grab them a coffee since you were going, or you went to the donut shop. We try not to eat donuts, but we stop at the breakfast shop or the donut shop and say, hey, I know you like that one with the sprinkles. I got you one since we was going, since I was there, you know, or, you know, your significant other. They say, hey, I'm at this place. Would you like me to pick you up something? Just little acts of random acts of kindness, as they call it. That's powerful. And that goes a long ways towards goodwill with other people. Not that you should be doing it for ulterior motive, but just when you good to people, they'll be good to you. Think about this. The best portions of one's life are the small acts of consideration and caring. And then let's talk about kind words. Kind words produce their own image in most people's souls, and the beautiful image it often is. I mean, when you say kind things to people, you know, they can soothe and comfort the hearer, the person receiving those kind words. They shame him out of his sour and bad attitude. If someone's in a bad mood and have a bad attitude, oftentimes kind words from somebody else will shake them out of that. They'll make them feel almost shamed for being, and they say, oh yeah, I should be doing that. I mean, I posted just this morning on Facebook from a sign I read. It was talking about don't fall for the trap. Don't believe that having a bad day means you're having a bad life, because some people feel that way sometimes when they have maybe even a string of bad days and they start to feel like maybe my life is not so great. And someone's kind words can often change that for them. Just that sign, that image. And I even had a few people respond to me and say, oh man, I needed to see this. And so, although they weren't kind words that came from my mouth, it was me reposting an image that I keep in my, I have a folder for inspiring images, and I do them randomly. That one I put out, something just told me to put that one out today, and I had people say I needed this. Now, I'm good at kind words, because I'm not in the habit of saying harsh, coarse things to people. I call it like I see it, and most times I see it as positive, and so it's not hard for me to have good things to say to and about people. But yet, I do use kind words in abundance, but I do strive to improve and have even more kind things to say, you know, and it all comes through practice. So you want to practice saying kind things to people, just looking for the best in them. Don't just look for the negative thing, you know. And sometimes I do make jokes about it, but about things. But yeah, it's something. If you practice it, you'll get better at it, because you'll get better at seeing, and then you'll start. Not only will you look for the best in people, you start to look at the best in situations, and that you can overcome bad situations or get through bad situations just by practicing that positive mindset. So I would say, whoever would be so foolish as not to try to be positive and kind when one's own happiness hangs in the balance when you're trying to help make someone else happy through kind words or kind actions. Because again, never again will we be disagreeable to another living soul. Now, I can see in that interplay of daily life where we're interacting with other people and we're going out to the day, and whether it's the mailman or woman, the delivery person or whatever, we just do kind little things, hold the door for them because they're coming in with a 2-wheeler packages or something like that. But it's those little acts of watchful kindness. That's what, that's that watchful kindness is where, because we see things recurring things every day, and we know that person often needs help with this thing because they struggle with it every day. So we pay attention and we help people because we see them every day, and we do things to make it easier for them to do what they're doing and just make the interaction between you and them a positive one. Now, this can be in the form of tone of voice, gestures, words, the tones, their gestures, and even the look you have on your face. All of these things affect, folks, and that when we show that kindness through that interaction, and we get admiration and a positive interaction that is usually won over, and then it's preserved by doing it on a day-to-day basis. I mean, how easy it is just to disperse that kindness to everyone around us. Just being nice. You get a kind word, you get a kind word, you get a kind word. And just try to make everybody you encounter, make their day that much better. It's not hard. Have a kind word. I mean, it just amazes me how people walk around all day long and don't have anything nice to say to another human being. I feel sorry for them, just like I talked about in another of the vows. And I said, it's just, man, people don't realize you'll get so much more back than what you think you're giving just by being kind to another individual, through the smiles, that enthusiasm. And if you think about it, the power of enthusiasm and the power of kindness, you put those together, you're a person people want to be around. You're a person that people enjoy. You're a person that feels, a sense of amusement and a sense of gratefulness that they encounter your infectious enthusiasm and your wonderful kindness. Now for me, each night I pray that I have made at least one human being a little happier, a little wiser, or at least a little more content with him or herself. And I do that especially in my work, helping folks with their credit, their finance, and helping folks with their business plans and goals. I try to bring that every day. I try to bring that to them, and I try to encourage them to bring that, and be kind, be enthusiastic about their work, because, of course, us being in business, we're engaging folks and we want them to share in what our mission, our goals, our dreams are, and so that we can serve them, and hopefully they will enjoy that as well. Now, if you think about it, how can you fail from this moment on if this vow that we just talked about is kept in the very air that we breathe? So now that you know about this vow and you start to incorporate it in your life, how can you possibly fail? If you keep this kindness in your mindset and you're putting kindness out into the world with every person you encounter, you can't fail. How could you? And it'd almost be as though the very air that you breathe and is filled with that kindness, and you're projecting it out to others. And it's not just kindness. People start to feel a universal love for who you are, and you just enjoy to be around, and then people start to feel love and good wishes from you and to you just by their interaction. Sometimes you can literally make people's day by talking to them, with kindness and enthusiasm together. You can definitely make their day. So say it with me: never again will I be disagreeable with another living soul. Now, I hope you found value in this video, and I hope you can, if you start to adopt that, you will feel the power of kindness, and you will start to enjoy kindness coming back to you, because I believe you get what you put out. And so in the next video, we're going to talk about adversity and the vow that helps us to overcome that. So until next time, God bless.